Welcome to Potters Pod, the official Stoke City podcast. The guest on this episode is Al-Hamadi, the Stoke City striker. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I've seen that you've done a few podcasts before, so this is not a new thing for you.
Yeah, I've done a few. I've not done any recently, to be honest. I've not done one for a while now. Went through a phase of doing... I don't know why, I just went through a phase of doing them for some reason.
It felt like a lockdown thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you know, when at that time when no one could go anywhere and it was just like, oh, let's do a podcast?
Yeah, it was. I like speaking. I like connecting with people, so I enjoy doing it.
I'm glad you've said that, because sometimes you speak to people when you're about to do a podcast or an interview and they go, I don't really like talking about myself. And you're like, well, we've got an hour to...
No, not talking about myself, but I just like connecting with people. I like speaking about things we have in common, so yeah, not just like talking about myself.
So in this podcast, what we tend to do is try and get to know the person behind the footballer, because obviously everyone who listens to this, Stoke fans, they'll see all the players on a Saturday afternoon, Tuesday night, whenever it is, and they don't get to know you as a person. So this is what this is all about. We'll talk about your time at Stoke, we'll talk about your time at Bromley, at Wimbledon, at Wickham, all that to come a little bit later on. But first of all, what we always do is start with your childhood. Was it a happy childhood?
It was a challenging childhood, definitely. Growing up, obviously, in Liverpool, in a tough area in Toxteth, which a lot of people know. Yeah, not many people make it out of there in any aspect in terms of like having a career in football or kicking on to be or whatever. Really, there's not many I can think of that have come out the area. I think Liverpool as a whole is quite good for that, and definitely in the sport industry. So yeah, a lot of challenges, but I'd say, I wouldn't say happy, but I wouldn't even say it was sad either. It was kind of just really hard working parents who both worked hard to provide for me and my little brother at the time, and just, yeah, I mean, it was one of those where you never had a birthday without having some gifts, and always had food on the table, and made sure we were never, left out in that respect. So it was just, I'd say it was challenging, and but yeah, I learned a lot from my childhood, which it's made me the person I am today. So,
are you proud to be from Toxteth?
Yeah, very proud, very proud. My mum still lives there now, and I still go back to see people to play football there, play in the cages, still do the same stuff every summer. So with me, my little brother, and a little sister as well. So 2 boys, one girl.
Oldest of the 3?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
What did you think you're like as a big brother?
I'd say I'm a good big brother. I provide for my family, and I think that's a blessing that we get as footballers, especially when you come from kind of a working class family, being able to provide for your mother and father and your siblings. I'd say I'm a good role model as well. I give them good examples by my actions. You always get, like, when you're older, you try and just tell people what's right and wrong, but I'd like to say I show them. So yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty good big brother. Yeah.
You're the one that's relied on.
Yeah. I think you can feel it. Like your siblings come to me for advice, and I think they feel safe whenever I'm around and can offer them some advice. And I was the first one to move away from home and kind of go through the experiences for them. So I always say to my little brother now, I've gone through the experiences, so you don't have to go through them. So I'm always here. Anything you need from a life point of view, or he's also playing basketball, so even from a sports point of view, mindset, whatever, I'm here to help.
You're obviously someone who's over the years done lots of miles driving around. If you had to pick the phone up for a good conversation on one of those long journeys, which one are you ringing?
My siblings. I'd say my younger brother. Yeah, he's 18, so 19, so we're not too far away in terms of age. And we grew up together, slept in the same bunk bed, shared a lot of the same experiences, so we were quite similar. We're very different, but we're very similar as well in the same way, which is, I don't know how that is when you grow up in the same environment with a sibling and you can turn out so differently.
What I love about this podcast is, like we mentioned before, is getting to know the people that are behind the player behind the footballer, so the person behind the footballer. And with you, your story is just amazing. Can you take us through your dad's journey and how he ended up in Toxteth?
Yeah, my dad was a refugee. He came here and fled Iraq from the war. My mum was still pregnant with me at the time while we was in Iraq, so he left before I was born. So I actually didn't end up seeing my dad till I was nearly 2 years old, or just before I turned 2. He came here first, through his own little journey, bouncing from country to country, boats and the stuff you'd expect from a refugee. And I landed in Liverpool, which quite rare for someone from Iraq to land there. And I don't know how it works in terms of the law and stuff, but obviously when you come here from a country that's war-torn, you can sort of like seek asylum and obviously called asylum seekers, and the government or the council helped him get me and my mother over a year or two after. So yeah, that's the short story. Obviously a lot more went into him getting here, and he's a great man. He's got his own story. Even my mother as well. My mum always gets annoyed that I don't mention her enough whenever I tell the story of my parents. But no, she was, being a single mum at 18, 19. Like, I don't know how you could do that at that age and come to a different country, different language, complete different world to what she was living in. So yeah, I think in our culture, our parents are very highly regarded anyway, but especially with the experiences they went through, I had kind of hold them even higher in regard.
How did they end up in Liverpool then? Because that's the thing that, like you say, you don't necessarily expect.
I don't know really. I don't know. There's a lot of people migrated to Sweden. A lot of people migrated to Canada. I'm talking Iraqi people in the war. A lot of people went to the US. And then there actually is quite a big community in Liverpool, Manchester, and London. So I don't know. I guess it's just some people ended up going there. It's just kind of who you know through mutual
someone
friends.
that you knew.
Ended
up there. And it kind of...
So yeah, everyone has their own kind of pathway to get where they need to go to.
Did he go to staff's uni as well, your dad?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So that was the first thing. As soon as he found out I was coming to Stoke, he was absolutely he was like, it's a full circle moment.
Yeah.
You got to Stoke.
When I saw that, I was like, that's mint.
It was full circle moment. That's where I went to uni and stuff. And again, I was younger when he was doing that, but he actually spent a few years here, and he was just telling me all the travel and stuff, because I was telling him I'm going to travel maybe from home and stuff, and he's like, no, you can't do that, it's too far. And I tried doing it for years. So yeah, there was a lot of sacrifices he made as well. I mean, there's some days he didn't see us for weeks on end because he was down here, and again, just a great man, great resilience. I think like the older generation are just, and maybe I don't know. I just feel like that generation of people are just so much stronger, and were able to go through some crazy things and still at the even when I speak to my mum and dad now, it's so humble. They never want to kind of speak about it, or they just think it's normal. And obviously in my mind, I'm thinking, no, you're like superheroes to me. Like, that's not normal to go through that. So yeah, amazing.
I love the idea that you're ringing your dad to tell him about something that's happened in Stoke. He's like, no, it's like 20 years ago and I was there. He's like, nothing new to him.
Yeah, no, it's mad. It's mad how life works. It's it's kind of like a full circle moment.
I know this is something you've spoken about before, but just briefly I want to touch on it, because there'll be a lot of misconceptions that when people hear asylum seeker, like you say, people will think what kind of jobs they do. But your dad has got a good job, and he came to Stash Uni to try and convert was he a lawyer, is that right? To convert so he could practice here?
Yeah, so he actually started his degree in law, in Iraq. But I don't know if it's still like this now, but it's not recognised under the list of, like a worldwide type of recognition for that degree that he done in Iraq. So he had to come here to finish it, which again, it's just so tough. I'm just thinking now, coming out, he wasn't young, he was 24, 25, again, moving to a different country with a wife and a kid kind of across the world, and just moved in, and it must have been so difficult for him, but he never actually managed to finish it off here. Because of those difficulties.
He had a lot on, to be fair.
Yeah, obviously I can forgive him for that. But no, he was, to this day, he still does a bit of freelance work, kind of off the cuff, for people who may be similar to what he he came over to the country, like say Iraqis come to this country, or any Arabs in the community who maybe need a helping hand, or got a lot of legal work, or a lot of things, a lot of forms that they need looking at, he'll still kind of help out and give us 2 pence on things when he needs to. So yeah, he was, a really intelligent man. When you speak to him, he's got a lot of knowledge on a lot of different things, and things again, like you'd only know those things when you've been through them yourself.
What were you like at school?
I was good, yeah, it was good. I got good grades. I wouldn't say I was like the most well-behaved kid, but I wasn't naughty by any means. I was just a normal lad, really. Get in trouble sometimes. Got in a lot of fights. But no, yeah, I was good. Always got me grades. I think that was one of the things my dad always drilled into me. Again, coming from my background and our culture, and as Arabs, education is important, because a lot of the families who came over here came for you to have a better education, a better future. So you kind of have to pay that back, that respect to them. So I was always really good in school, always got me grades. Took a lot of convincing to come out of school when I obviously wanted to play football, but yeah, luckily it's paid off.
Any teachers that you remember?
Yeah, still get a few text me. Yeah, still know.
This is the perfect opportunity to say some names.
To be honest, the one who does text me all the time, I don't know if you'll watch this, but Mr. Griffith, he was one of my teachers. He's a Blackpool fan, and obviously a Liverpool fan as well. But yeah, he's probably the one that texts me the most out of my old school teachers.
Year 5 teacher, Miss Kim?
Yeah. These just brought back memories. I don't know. Yeah, she's not that. I've not seen her or heard anything from her for years, but I don't know if she still teaches there, to be honest.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
Does she, yeah?
She sent a message.
Does she, yeah?
Do you want to hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Half mad.
So this is slightly embarrassing just before we play this. It's not too embarrassing, but I'll let you tell the story after she leads it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll try. I've got a really bad memory, so I'm hoping I remember what's been said.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, this is Miss Keogh from Pleasant Street. I taught Ali when he was in year 5 and remember him well as a kind, well-mannered, hard-working and talented student. There were only a few teachers left at school who taught Ali and his brother. One in particular, Mr. Irvine, recalled a time when he was around 5 or 6 years old and he came into school for either a non-uniform day or a school trip in a full suit, including blazer and tie, dressed up to the nines for a day in school. Ali took the time to visit school a few years ago when he was playing for Swansea. He spent time answering questions from the children about being a professional footballer, his wages, and who he had played matches against for hours. He made time for all of the pupils, but also reminded them of the sensible side of becoming a footballer, reminding them to focus on their work and to study hard. They were so excited to meet him, and his shirt is displayed in the school hall as a reminder to the children to work hard and dream big, and that Ali walked the same footsteps as them a few years ago. We wish Ali every success in his future and hope that he continues to do well in his career.
Wow, that's amazing. That was really sick. Yeah.
She was very happy to do it as well. Sometimes it takes a bit of an arm twist. You know what I mean?
That was really nice. Yeah, no, I think that's gives me the most pride hearing things like that, because yeah, obviously everyone wants to score a goal on a Saturday and get that rush of adrenaline that you get as a striker. But I think hearing something like that means a lot more to me than scoring a goal. Honestly, that's what you do it for, really. So yeah, no, thanks, Miss Cure. Very nice to hear from you.
The reason why I ask if you like your fashion is because I thought to myself, you think now I'm going to skip on and not talk about the suit?
Yeah, no, I honestly can't remember that.
Yeah, right.
What I can put on the record is at that age I don't dress myself, so mum, dad, the other thought of putting a suit on was I can't remember really. I mean, I don't think anyone said to me about it at the time, so yeah.
You scored a lot of goals for their school team, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I don't know how many, but it was a lot, yeah.
And then, do you think, obviously, you've gone on to do some fantastic things, which we'll come on to, playing at Wembley and all that kind of stuff. At what point do you think you shook off the Mr. Lazy tag?
Yeah, I actually used to get called lazy all the time. Honestly, bringing back a lot of old memories, yeah. Yeah, I got labelled as lazy a lot when I was younger, which obviously now is crazy because I'm far from lazy. I always think because I was a bit taller when I was younger than the other kids, I looked a bit lazy, like my body language, but I don't think I actually was. But yeah, obviously I don't think anyone who watches me now could say I'm lazy.
You say you got labelled. You're actually award-winning.
Yeah.
Being lazy.
Yeah, yeah, I did, yeah. How do you know that you know a lot more than I do? That's some good detective work, I'll give you that.
Do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, it was, we used to do these awards at, was it Paramount?
Marshalls.
Marshalls when I was younger. And
Marshalls was the junior team.
Junior team, yeah. Yeah, we used to obviously do an awards night and stuff at the end of the season, and yeah, we used to do obviously like a fun awards of like, yeah, Mr. Lazy or Mr. Moaning or whoever it was, and yeah, I think I won Mr. Lazy like 3 years on the bounce. But I think they let me off because I obviously scored a lot of goals, so it's kind of like you had to choose one or the other with me when I was a bit younger. But yeah, you know what? I don't really remember when I shut that off because, again, like I say now, I'm far from lazy. You know, one of my attributes is pressing and I'm working really hard.
What I really want to get into on this podcast is when you were growing up, obviously for people that live in this country that would have heard about Iraq in the news, they would have only heard about the troubles and things that they've experienced. They've heard it from a kind of a very much an English Western point of view of what it's like. I want to really kind of get an idea of what it's like as a place, which we'll come on to in a bit. But when you're growing up, I really want to understand what it was like to be growing up in Toxteth, where that is in Liverpool, with everything that's going on in the world. What's it like to be you in that situation? Because people listening to this will be the other side of that. What was it like to be you?
Like I said to you before, I think living in Toxteth itself has its challenges, and growing up in Liverpool and a less developed area is, again, you growing up around a lot of poverty, around a lot of challenges away from your home. I'd say more than I always say, like, inside my home it was quite secure, and I had 2 really good parents and a good upbringing, and being from a Muslim family I was always quite religious, so I had that background and that kind of base to my life where I could always, whatever was going on, I could kind of come home, and yeah, it wasn't like the biggest home or whatever, but it was like our tight-knit family, and we really were tight-knit, and we still are now. And then on top of that, yeah, being in Iraqi, which isn't really rare, not in football anyway, and we had a good community of Iraqi people in Liverpool and Manchester who had similar experiences to us. But there's a lot of obviously misconceptions, firstly, about Iraq as a country. You know, every time someone tells me that, I tell somebody that I play for the national team, it's like, oh, like, what's it like there? Is it safe to go? And I'm like, yeah, it's just a normal country. Like, it's not like people are shooting each other on the streets. It's a really perfectly normal country now, and obviously went through its challenges, and it's definitely battered and war-torn, but there's some really lovely parts of it, and especially the capital in Baghdad and Basra, where we play our home games. You can go on YouTube, and I've seen a few videos of people send me, like, English people going on holiday to Iraq and kind of vlogging the whole experience and stuff, and it's nothing but good vibes and people up till 1 a.m. on the streets and dancing and singing. And I'd say Iraqi people are genuinely one of the most hospitable people on the earth. It's a really special place, and yeah, I'd say that's the only misconception. That it's not like frustrating, but I think the media here, because of we live in an English country, so it's completely normal. So I don't have that problems with people ever asking me that question or whatever. But yeah, it does kind of get a bit frustrating at times to repeat the same things. But then again, I always say this to my little brother. I say, if people were living in Iraq, say like English people live in Iraq, they'd have the same type of issues and stuff. You're the minority in a country, so it's not ever going to be completely perfect your way. You're going to have to deal with some sort of challenges, and I don't think any people mean any bad intentions when they're asking these questions or
a lot of the time it comes from just genuine interest.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Do you feel a certain kind of weight on your shoulders then to be not to be the representative of it, but because you are such a high profile person from Iraq, first Iraqi to play in the Premier League, do you feel then that you constantly have to be the person telling those stories? Does that get a bit tiresome or not really?
No, I think it's the opposite really. I think it's a privilege, and to be the first person from a country ever in history to play in any competition. Yeah, it's a privilege and it's an honour, and it comes with its responsibilities. And I know lots of, I'm kind of like the pioneer, you could say, for young Iraqi kids coming up, because they've seen that it can finally be done and they needed that first person to go and do it. And honestly, that's my purpose when I wake up every day, because I feel like as a footballer you can get a bit lost in the accolades, the accomplishments, and don't get me wrong, I'm striving for that every day. I want to be the best goal scorer I can be. I want to help whatever team I'm playing, and I want to get promotions and trophies and all of that stuff, individual awards. But I think when you finish your career and you're on your wooden stool and you're rocking back and forth, I think you're just going to go down in history as another person that's played the game. I think back of like players you played 60, 70 years ago. They just go down as a name in history, and I think what does get remembered is, again, like how they impacted people. And if I can impact as many people in a positive way, then that's more than enough for me. It's not like I said, like the top goal scorers in history. Yeah, it must have felt really nice, and I do want to strive for that. But you just search on Google and it's just like a name with a little number on the side. It's not fulfilling really. So yeah, to be that kind of role model for Iraqi, not just boys, for girls, anyone really, is it's a really big privilege for me, and I'm just want to make sure I do it justice.
You say get lost. You talk about when you left, and I don't want to skip over large periods of your life here, but you went to Swansea when you obviously spent a lot of time at Tranmere and coming through there. You said that when you went to Swansea, you felt like you lost connection with a lot of yourself, and you said it in your own words that you cut ties with some of your friends that you grew up with. What was that period like, going to South Wales?
I think when you're from Liverpool, it's a very unique place. And I was speaking to someone who works here the other day, and I was saying that Carbs, by the way, shout out Carbs, because he was, obviously we're both from Liverpool, and we were saying that I feel like people from Liverpool, for me, the best people on earth, but can also be some of the worst people on earth, because it's like you feel like a bit of a jealousy and envy, and rather than wanting your own people to do well, it's like, I don't know. I just felt that when I was moving away from Liverpool when I was a bit younger, I felt like a lot of that from my school friends and from people who, people say, "Oh, you changed, or you've stopped messaging, stop calling." But that wasn't my intention. My intention was, no, I'm going to chase my dream here, which obviously my family's allowed me to do, in terms of leaving my education when nobody's, from my culture really been allowed to do that as such. So I need to pay it justice, and I put my all into moving away and into my work, and to working as hard as I can to be a professional footballer at the time. So yeah, that had its sacrifices of, obviously some people had to get left behind, and that's kind of the ruthless nature of football really. And to be a top athlete or top individual elite athlete in any industry, you have to make some sacrifices. So for me, it was, I'm going to have to let go of a lot of that baggage that I had when I was a bit younger. People who were maybe holding me down, who weren't serving my life in any positive way. So yeah, we obviously just moved away from home, and like I said, as an Arab kid from an Arab family, we're very tight-knit, so moving away from home anyway was a big thing for me. On top of all those challenges and moving into a completely different world in Swansea and different style of football, at the time, it was some of the best football played in the whole of England, really, in terms of like playing football and playing off in the back. One of the first teams to really do it. So yeah, a lot of challenges, a lot of change, and it was a lot.
What do you think you were like to be around at the time when you were living in Swansea? If I spoke to people that were in the same youth team as you, what do you think they would have said about you?
similar to what my teacher said, to be honest. I've never really changed.
I've not got any of the. You're fine. You're okay. I'm not going to put any of that.
Hard working. I'd say definitely. Resilient, very resilient. Yeah. So I hate speaking on myself. It's not. So at the start, it's just I'd rather just let other people like say things. I just give me all every day. That's all.
I don't want to like kind of pump it up to something it's not, but from your culture, being the oldest one, where your mum and dad have obviously you're acutely aware of what they've been through to get to where you are, to go to somewhere because you've got a dream to play football when probably other people wanted you to do different things. That's a lot of things to be going through your mind at like 80 and 90. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean to like, I don't want to blow up some, you might say, well, it wasn't like that, but from the outside looking in, that's a lot of things.
Yeah, no, it is. And again, I kind of just got raised and the way I see my mum and dad kind of just get on with it, and whether that's right or wrong, that's just all I knew really, and still is to this day. It's like, roll your sleeves up, get on with it. There's bigger things in the world to worry about. There's people going through a lot worse than you, and I'm quite good at showing gratitude, and in our religion, we obviously do our 5 prayers every day, and I think that helps me kind of give myself moments throughout the day and be grateful for what I'm going through and everything I've got in my life. And I think that's the thing that got me through it really, and gets me through most challenging periods or even good periods. It's not just when things are going badly that you need to show gratitude, it's when things are going well. So yeah, I mean, there'll be a time, obviously when I get to do these podcasts, you kind of reflect and look back on them, and you get to think about things, and when you're speaking about them, you're learning more about them. But yeah, obviously on a day-to-day life, when the kind of like the speed of the world and everything's going on, you don't really pay attention to these things. You're just getting on with it and you think it's normal.
Religion's a big part of your life as well. It's really important to you.
Yeah. It's a word that probably means different things to different people. A lot of people always ask me when I say I'm Muslim, like, are you religious? And I think that's anyone who's religious or follows a religion gets asked that question. For people who maybe don't follow a religion or a belief or something, it's a normal question to ask. I always wouldn't ask that question myself to somebody who is following the religion, because what does religious actually mean? It's different to different people, because somebody doesn't follow their religion to the T and every single detail of the religion. That doesn't mean they're not religious. And I think religious is kind of like a throwaway word that gets used when it comes to spirituality. For me, I'm Muslim. I follow my faith in the best way, or the way that I think is right. And whether that's right or wrong, in my eyes, it's like one day I'm going to get judged for these things by the God I believe in. So that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me happy. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to buy into it. And yeah, that's kind of my relationship with it.
You said that when you went to Swansea, your faith, that was when you probably felt most disconnected from that. I'm trying to unpick like what it must have been like for you at that time to come from Liverpool and to go down to Swansea. It's so impressive to see someone that's kind of acknowledged that and kind of gone through the other side of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's because in Islamic culture, I'd say the way we're raised is very old, very traditional, quite strict, and probably lost some of that in English culture, in terms of like, it's not a very mistake. I might be wrong, by the way. I'm going to ask you this question. It's not as religious as it once was, and a lot more things are acceptable nowadays, which again isn't a bad thing by any means. I'm just saying that the way I grew up was a lot more strict, and when I went away from home, because I had so much freedom, because I went from like this to like this, it was like, oh wow, I've got all this freedom now. But I think people mistake freedom as well, and I don't want to get too deep, but like, for me, freedom is having discipline. Like, when you have discipline and you have a set structure and things that you follow, that's freedom. Then you have the freedom. I think like people nowadays think that freedom is like doing what I want, eat what I want, sleep what I want, I'll say what I want, and it's my opinion, and I'll do what I want, and it's like that's not really freedom on like a deeper level if you really know what freedom is. So once I thought I had this like fake version of freedom, I started again exploring, doing things that I probably wouldn't have ever done if I was at home. Probably things that would be considered as normal in, you know, to people who are from this country or who aren't maybe following a religion. To me, it wasn't normal, and it was like, oh wow, like this doesn't feel good. Like it's kind of taking a toll on my energy, on my soul. And again, I know people probably just maybe will grasp it, maybe won't. I don't want to get too deep with it, but
the thing is, if people like yourself don't talk about it,
yeah,
you're always going to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Just for me, it was like I'd done a lot of things where it took a bit of a toll on my energy, my soul at that time, and just my intuition and I was just spiritually kind of guided to go back to what I knew was right, which was my religion and my faith and what I believe in. So yeah, I've had periods like that in the past couple of years where I've been back and forth and exploring myself, and I think you kind of owe it to yourself if you do follow a certain religion or whatever is belief to know really why you believe in that and what's the purpose of it. So that's what I've done really, and I still try and do that as best as I can to this day.
So leaving Swansea, what was that like?
Again, challenging, another crossroads really for my career and my life at the time. Got offered a new deal to stay there because I felt like I'd done well enough at youth level to warrant some sort of first team experience or exposure, and I felt like I weren't getting that at Swansea. Tough, really challenging. It was I think it was just coming out the back of COVID as well, so clubs, I didn't understand this at the time, so probably going back now with my knowledge about and the experience I have, would that change it? Probably not, but again, I was so naive into thinking that you could just walk into a first team, wherever it is, League 2, League 1, National League, and get signed. But under the financial constraints that all the clubs are under after COVID, it was tough. I felt like I'd done well wherever I went, whatever club I went into to trial, I'd done really well and left a good impression on everyone there. But it was always at the end, for some reason they couldn't sign me because it was this and that and financial constraints and whatnot. So it was tough, really tough. Went through a lot of challenging times. And yeah, football just led me to obviously being at Wickham through a lot of different connections and different coincidences, I'd say. And yeah, that was it really. Spent a period there under Gareth Ainsworth. That was my first real first team experience, and it was a good welcome into league football. Obviously, I love Gareth. We're a great guy, and he still texts me to this day. But really direct style of football and different to what I've been used to at Swansea. So taught me that side of the game. Again, probably didn't play as much as I wanted to because I was still a kid with no first team experience. So got a few league games, started a game in League 1, and got a few cup games in at first team level, and then I decided after a year to kind of take another, say, naive, jump and risk, and went to Wimbledon in League 2, and kind of since then it's just been really flat.
I felt bad that I'd skipped over like ages 10 to 16, but you've skipped over playing with Adi Akinfenwa. You skipped over Wembley, so let's just go back a little bit. So the first one that I imagine when you are a football fan, especially if you're a fan of playing football-related games, we won't say the name just because of branding and stuff. Adebayo Akinfenwa. Yeah. What was he like? You learnt a bit from him. Did he teach you about how to roll your body and stuff?
Yeah. No, Bayo was a really, really good guy. Took me under his wing. Really big wing. But no, he was such a good guy, honestly. Again, still speak to him every now and then. Great person to have in the dressing room. Exactly the way you see him on TV and on the shows, and that's exactly what he's like as a person. Again, bit old school, like demands respect and doesn't take a lot of it. Doesn't like the younger lads giving him banter and stuff. He's very serious about his work. But yeah, great guy. Again, that was a great dressing room full of good players. Sam Vokes, who played at Premier League level. We had Anis Mehmeti, who's now at Bristol, who's doing really well. Gareth McCleary, really good player. Had so many good players, top pros, experienced pros, Joe Jacobson. And I learned a lot from all those players. So like that was the first real first team dressing room I'd been involved in, and I thought that was normal for a first team dressing room, but everyone was just themselves. No one cared about anyone, about what anyone thought of them. We had so many different personalities, different cultures. We had like a religious group of people who we'd do prayers, we'd do our Friday kind of meetings, and we'd sit in a circle and talk about our experiences, anything anyone was struggling. It was such a top environment to be in. And Gareth was obviously the leader of all that, and again, everything you've seen on the TV and on the media, that's exactly what he was like. He was just himself. He didn't care what anyone thought, and that just followed through to all the players then, and we were allowed to be ourselves, and showed in the promotion to Championship and a few really good seasons at League One, competing to be at the top and play off. So
is that quite unusual then, to have an area where you sit around on a Friday and talk about your thoughts and feelings? Because that's, as a non-football player, well, not professionally, and that's the kind of thing that seems like a little bit hard to kill to what you might hear about football.
Yeah, no, it's really not normal. Really,
that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. I don't want to miss
normal.
this.
We used to have Jason McCarthy, who's, again, really, really good guy. And when I first came in, it was like, oh, what's going on here? Like, this is a bit too much for me. So I went in for a few of them, and on Fridays we used to just go into a room and we'd sit in a circle, and it was really just chill. It was just like everyone was having a bit of banter and stuff, and obviously it was a bit more of a religious thing. So Jason would kind of, talk about something in terms of religion, and then at the end we'd go around the circle, and if anyone had anything to say or anything they were struggling with, it would get said, and we'd kind of either say a prayer or whatever you believed in. You don't have to say a prayer. It's kind of just a nice little moment in the day to kind of have to yourself. So yeah, it's definitely not normal. Nah, I wouldn't say it's normal, but it was something that we had. And again, it was just really, really good environment, and I learned so much off the boys there.
Your takeaway from Wickham then is the fact that Mark Robbins' cowboy boot collection is not as good as the girls they age with. Is that what you're saying? Is that what we're going to see on social media? Is that the news headline?
Going to get quoted.
It is, yeah.
Very different guys.
Polar opposites. Yeah. I like the idea.
Very different. No, I've had some top managers, like good managers, different styles. You have to adapt to each one. You have to treat each one as their own individual, and to help them get the best out of you.
Can we talk about Bromley?
Yeah, for sure.
Can we talk about Wembley? Because obviously that is going to be the highlight, I imagine.
Yeah. Wow. Like, that was my first, loan, National League. It was tough. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was physically challenging. It was mentally challenging. It was the first time I'd done Ramadan during a football season, so I was fasting and played that under Andy Woodman, who's really old school manager, and again, top guy.
There was no meetings. No, you fit on a Friday.
No, there's no Friday meetings there. Definitely not. I loved him. We really got along. He was like very old school, but he was also like progressive and kind of modern in the way we played. So it was my first full experience of first team, and I didn't really understand what was going on really until we started getting closer to Wembley, and it was like we played the semi-final, won. And then next minute I was like, we were playing at Wembley, and I was like, whoa, like, where's this come from? And then we played Wrexham, so I started hearing like, oh yeah, this could be a good crowd, and obviously it's a National League trophy, so it wasn't a spectacular crowd, but for me it was like the first time I played in front of that many people. That was honestly one of the best moments I've had in my career so far. Like, I've obviously had a promotion to the Premier League, but generally the feeling I had that day, because it was so new to me and it was like euphoria, I'd say I was up there with the Prem promotion, because it was just, it was unbelievable. Like, when that final whistle went, and it was just like, wow, just played at Wembley and won a trophy. And again, I know it's not the FA Cup, but it's still special, especially when I was only 18, 19 or whatever it was.
The videos from that time as well, you can tell how, and obviously you're going to be happy you just won a cup, but it seemed like you were absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, no, it was just raw emotion. I didn't actually watch it back until the end of the summer, because it's like when you finish the season, everyone's jetting off, you've got a million things going on, and it all just do that one thing after another. And it was only really when I finished all my holidays and stuff, I sat, finally kind of had a bit of free time to myself. And I just remember going to my room and just putting on the TV, because he'd done a documentary about it and stuff. And yeah, it was just top. just pure emotion. Like, yeah, it was definitely up there with, like, I think whatever trophy I win, just because it was like my first one and it was so new to me, and I was so excited about it, and my family was there, and yeah, it was like beautiful days on it. Like, sun was shining, you knew the season was done after this game. You could just have a just unbelievable time in the sun with all your friends and family. So yeah, that was good, and I still speak to Andy now as well. Really good guy, good manager, and obviously they're doing really well in League Two off the back of a good promotion last year.
Where are you mentally at this point then? Because you've obviously gone to Swansea and you mentioned what that experience was like there, and then you're probably thinking, right, Wickham, if I crack on from here, where am I going to go to next? So going to a loan to the National League is obviously, in pyramid stages, a drop down. Where do you see yourself, and what are you thinking is your next step at this point?
It was like, right, I've had a really good loan, and let's go back next season and get into that first team lineup at Wickham. And I came back in pre-season really well. I was fitter than everyone. I was sharp. I was playing well in all the pre-season games, and spoke to Gareth, and he was like, yeah, hopefully I'm going to be involved a lot more this season as a player off the bench, potentially a bit more, kind of like first sub, second sub, and build my way into the team. And the closer I got to the Christmas period, it was just didn't really see the evidence of it really, and I made my first start around December time away at Plymouth, who were top of the league at the time, and I remember having a really rough day, to be honest. It wasn't my greatest performance, and I just kind of went home that day feeling just like I never want to feel like that again. And I had a crossroads really. It was like, I think when you get a bit more experience now, when I kind of learned this as I'm getting older, it's sometimes you just need a change of environment. Sometimes you're not doing anything that wrong, but like you just need the belief of a manager, and you need someone to make you feel valued. And as a young player, sometimes you feel like you're always chasing a start, chasing to really impress the manager, impress the fans and stuff. But like, you just take you and place you in a place where you're valued and you're already the thing that you want to be, and you don't need to prove it. It's like you go and flourish, and I feel like that's what happened at Wimbledon. I was like raring to go, but it felt like I was like scrapping to just get pieces of Wickham. And again, Gareth will, I spoke to him many times, and he won't like have a problem with saying this, but he wanted to keep me and wanted to keep me around, but he knew that it was probably, I really did want to go and just go and make that leap and trust in my ability. I feel like I've done that every stage so far in my career, just again the way I've grew up, and instead of expecting the worst, like, what if it goes? It's like, no, just expect the best. Like, what if it does go right? What if you go there and smash it? What if you do score goals? If you've got to play well? And that's just the mindset I had when I left to go to Wimbledon.
That's the reason why I asked, because I'm thinking, if you've just done really well at Bromley and then you've gone back there, and then as soon as you've got to Wimbledon, you pretty much hit the ground running.
Yeah.
The goals that you scored. Didn't you finish top goal scorer even though you joined in January? Is that right?
Yeah. No, it was it was phenomenal. And again, a bit of luck, I was just, again, Johnny, another great manager, played under Johnny Jackson, and it was just gone in somewhere. Manager trusted me, gave me the belief to be like the main man, and as a striker, I think that's really key. I just feel like at whatever level you're at, whatever team, whether it's Real Madrid, whether it's Bromley, unless you have the belief of a manager and a feeling, it's like a feeling you get of like, you're my guy, you're going to do this for me. That's all you need as a striker. If you kind of always feel like you're battling to win the trust, and I just don't feel like you're going to get the best out of a striker. And I think as fans as well, like it's normal, because it's obviously you only see that, but I've heard people say that, the striker done really, he was crap for us, or like he wasn't, it's a different player. But you need to really understand the mentality of a forward player. You can have your own self-confidence, don't get me wrong, that's something that every player needs to develop, but I feel like if you don't have the self-confidence plus the confidence from others, it's like any industry, like if your boss believes in you and you feel good and he values you, you're going to perform better in your job. So I hear that sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, I get you might have not, this player might have done well there or might not have, but it's like, that's the journey that each player takes. Like, they have to learn those things across the clubs. Like, they may go to one club, not do as well, but they learned something that they needed to learn there. So for example, me, like at Ipswich this year, like I didn't play as much as I wanted to. I was coming off the bench in the Premier League, which is unbelievable for me considering I was at Wimbledon, not even 12, 6, whatever months it was ago. But I learned different things. I learned how to come off the bench. I learned how to play a different style of football. I learned that training really matters. I learned like so many things, like invaluable things that year that I'm going to take forward in my career. So yeah, it's not the same season as I had at Wimbledon where I was rattling in goals every week, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's not the point. The point is, how can I keep getting better? And again, like, Kieran was just unbelievable at that with me and with all the players. So yeah, it's I don't even know what your question is, to be honest. Like, sorry.
No, you're good.
Waffle.
Again, the reason why I talk about this again is because in preparation for this conversation, I was speaking to a lot of people that watched you a lot of time at Wimbledon, and it was like the thing that they was really impressed by was how you came in. It was in the January that you joined, and straight away you were scoring goals. And I spoke to 2 or 3 different people, and the thing that kept coming back was it was like you were head and shoulders above all the people that you're playing. You know, when you look at someone, you go, he's too good for this level. That's what they said. So going from Wickham and getting that confidence at Bromley and then going in there, you must have been just flying and just loving life.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it's just, you need to go through those little periods of learning. Like, not every phase in your life is a thriving period. Like, there's different periods, there's learning periods, there's periods you need to go through adversity. I missed a penalty against, I've missed a couple of penalties now, and that's, I know people can, laugh about it on social media and take the myth, but for me that really hurts because it's something that I've tried to work on a lot. Whether I'm going to be a phenomenal penalty taker in my career, I don't know. Like, we'll find out. But you need to go through like little periods where you don't play as well, where you're on the periphery, where you're third choice, where you struggle. Like, you have to go through those periods, and then you have to go through the periods where you thrive and whatever. And maybe in those periods you don't learn a lot, but it's like the work that you've done before. It's like that's time for you now to show it, and then you might progress a level or whatever it is, and then it's like a learning phase again. So that's just like a life of a footballer and a life of a young footballer, and that's what's always set me apart from like others. And I'd say any top footballer would say the same thing. It's having, I think the one thing I would big myself up about is I've got an elite mindset, and I don't think there's many people that think like me in terms of how I approach everything in my life. So like what the fans think of me is obviously important, and I want to have a positive impact and a positive effect on people who come to watch me, but in all actuality, like in the most respectful way, like it doesn't matter to me because I know the work I do. I know how I approach everything. I know how much I put into everything every day on the training pitch, away from the training pitch, how much I dedicate my life to it. So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I want to be everyone wants to be a fan favourite. Everyone wants to have the name sung, and that's amazing. But what matters is, like, can you go to bed every day knowing you've done everything you can? And I know I do that, so I've got no doubts about myself in that aspect.
We will talk about Stoke. We will talk about playing for your country, and we will talk about your chant, because it's a good chant. We'll talk about it in a second. I just want to ask you one question about Ipswich, which is about, there's a really iconic photograph of you after winning promotion.
Yeah.
What's your recollection of that?
Wow.
So for people that don't know this photograph, it's basically, if you Google you, which again is a weird thing to say to someone, I have done, there's the picture that always comes up is you on the back of, was it a load of fans' shoulders?
Yeah.
So they basically picked you up. You explain it better than I do.
Yeah, wow. Just when you think about it, it just brings back like all the feelings and memories. But yes, going into the game, it was like you knew it was going to happen. If you won it, we were going to get promoted, and you knew there was going to be a pitch invasion of some sort. And I'm quite close to Sam Moores at Ipswich. We got along really well, and I was obviously on the bench, and the first thing I'd done is just obviously I ran to Sam, kind of just like sprinted straight at him, grabbed him. I don't know what I was saying to him, what he was saying to me, but it was just like, again, just another one of those moments that I don't think, like, not that I'm not a normal human being, but maybe someone doesn't play sport and achieve something like that would ever experience. It was just pure euphoria. And yeah, I don't know, next minute I'm on the fan shoulders, obviously everyone's invading the pitch, and I was kind of like just like looking at so many people, and you kind of knew what you've just done, but you don't know what you've just done. It's like, what have I just done? Like, what have we just done as a club, as a team? And then I see my little brother kind of just appeared. He must obviously sprinted and found a few of my mates, and it was just, wow, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It must have been quite a strong bloke because you're a big lad. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was the most
I think
impressive.
they kept swapping shoulders.
Yeah.
So, like, you let someone take 5 minutes, then I went on someone else's, and then my brother came, and then he took turns with my mate, and I was there for like 20, 30 minutes before I kind of got evacuated. And then, yeah.
Because no matter how euphoric the moment is, there's still a physical practicality of getting you on your shoulders. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's been happy, but that's
a point I've never thought of. Yeah, it must have been either a really drunk fella or a strong fella. So, yeah.
When you came to Stoke, what was your initial impression? And you mentioned a few moments ago about how important it is to be the main man. Is that what you got from John Walters when he was selling you the club?
Yeah, when I probably like the wrong way to describe it by saying the main man. Obviously, you've got 10 other players on the pitch who are all the main man. Everyone's the main man.
Strikers are different.
But I'm saying, yeah, as a striker, you need to feel like... For me, again, people might disagree. For me, it's the hardest position on the pitch to score goals. That's why strikers notoriously get paid like the most and most money, expensive signs or whatever. So, yeah, obviously that's what drew me to the club. Apart from it being a fantastic football club, and from a life point of view, it's closer to home, closer to my family. Again, massive football club, massive club for the level. And I feel like whatever stage I've been at, I've always just wanted to take the challenge on. And for me, it would have been easy to kind of stay and because when it came down to it, was do I go, do I stay? And again, I just wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't take the challenge on and try it. So, yeah, there was a lot of different factors, to be honest. There wasn't one specific thing. But the main thing was just playing football because, again, I kind of went through a year or 6 months at Ipswich now of not playing as much as I'd been used to in the year before that. So it was like, right, can I get back to playing? Can I get fit again? Can I get sharp again? Because coming on to Premier League games is obviously get you fit and sharp, but the feeling you get from playing week in, week out, smashing games out and getting that momentum and getting that sharpness is it doesn't matter what level you're at, you need to be doing that. So that was the main thing for me.
I saw the day when you were being shown around the Bet365 stadium by John Walters, and then you were put up on the big screen. What was your initial impression when you were walking around on that match day? John Walters, very much in the most respectful way possible, had the most proud dad look on his face that I think I'll ever see anywhere.
Yeah, no, John's been great with me. He's obviously had an unbelievable career. Was a brilliant striker, and to have someone like that believe in you is a thing in itself. So it was a no-brainer for me, really. And yeah, I was not like I was surprised. I've not played at Stoke before, to be completely honest. But I was just really, like, for some reason, I was not surprised, but I was like, oh wow, like, this is proper. Do you know what I mean? Proper stadium, proper fans, proper training ground. All the tools to be a top football club. So I'm not a sporting director, I'm not an owner, so I know it's probably harder than just having a good stadium and stuff. But no, it was just like, wow, this is like top. And I was like struggling to understand why footballers could struggle, really. But yeah, I don't know, stuff that's before me and stuff that maybe I don't understand.
First phone call from Mark Robbins before he signed. What did he say to you? Do you remember it? Set the scene. Where were you? What was it like?
Yeah, no, it was just like a Zoom call. I think everything nowadays
a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Was it? Not just like a normal phone call.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a Zoom call.
Did you put your suit on?
Nah, I think was that? I can't even remember. I think I'm in dressing gown.
Are you conscious? Again, we will talk about the football, but if a manager like Mark Robbins, who's obviously played at a high level, is about to give a Zoom call for me, I think I'm putting like my nice jumper.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, I think I was sat playing my PlayStation, to be honest, and I was like checking my watch because I knew he was coming up in like half an hour, and I was like really lazy because I didn't have a top on it. Just had like
Mr. Lazy,
Mr. Lazy. So I just ran, got a nice t-shirt on and just kept my hat on because my trim was outrageous like it is now. But no, it was just nowadays everything's really organised and tactical, and this is what obviously at me asking questions and from a football point of view. And yeah, really, really good manager, really good man. And I think probably the way he is, he's a bit like tougher, a bit more old school, I'd say, in that sense. Not that he's old, by the way, sorry, Gaffer. But just like a bit old school.
The
and
perfect age, some
just
would
like
say.
it's something maybe the football club needed, like a bit more of an experienced head, a bit more stability, someone who's not like always up and down and so overreactive every time something bad happens. And obviously he's been an unbelievable player and a great manager so far in his managerial career. So yeah, all the tools to hopefully have a successful period at the club.
I love that he said all those nice things because she starts by saying he's old ahead. I know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, no,
I've seen this before.
So hopefully he doesn't watch the podcast.
Everyone watches the podcast. So you walk into the dressing room. I imagine that's quite nerve-wracking in of itself. Even though you're coming from a Premier League club, you're still a lad that's walking in somewhere. Anyone who's listened to this has had a first day at work or a first day at school. So you walk in, who you're gravitating to, who comes across to you first. I think I know who'll come across to you first, but you tell me what happens.
Go on, you give me your like 3 people.
Right, I reckon number 1, Ben Gibson. I reckon Ben Gibson comes straight over. Ali, how are you, mate? Welcome.
Who else?
Vix Johansson.
Okay.
And I reckon probably Frank Fielding.
Bang on. 3 good names. I'm sure there is others, but yeah, those 3 definitely. Yeah, I think, even though I'm young, I've been in quite a lot of football clubs already, to be fair. So I've had that experience of going into new changes and new environments. I think the one thing I was a bit like, not wary of, but because I was in a change room that was so successful, there's kind of a different feel to every change room you go into. And I felt like me signing, I kind of bring that sort of energy to the room and bring a bit more of like a winning culture and a bit more demand from the people around me. Obviously, I'm only young, but I feel like coming from Liverpool, we're a different type of personality, and we've got quite a young front line. So just being like a voice to the people around me, and sometimes just hearing a voice, here or here, even though you can't see them on the pitch, just kind of gives you a bit more comfort. And I had that when I was playing with other strikers. It's like you just feel a bit more comfortable when you know you got a leader in there with you that's gonna talk, that's gonna set it off, set the running off, set the tone for everything. So kind of had that going into my mind when I was signing, and yeah, it takes a while. Obviously, it takes a couple of days, couple of weeks to settle in. It's always, you're human in it. You walk in it. We're animals at the end of the day, and like when you go into a new environment, it's a change of environments and just learning new people, what people are like. And there's people you meet on the first that you think, going to be best mates, and then kind of, maybe they're not my type of people. And then there's the way around, there's people who you don't get along with, and then actually after a week you're like, oh wow, like you're really different to what I thought you was. But what I can say is it's such a good dressing room. And I was again surprised, because I thought, considering maybe I had not the best season on the pitch, it might have been a bit tough to walk into. But no, everyone's positive, everyone's really working hard on and off the pitch, on the training pitch, off the pitch, in the gym, everything really. So yeah, it's been tough so far, and all the lads have helped me settling really well.
Did you do initiation?
Nah,
did you not?
Nah. I really like that, Feels like
I didn't know if they'd just like make you do a song or something.
Nah, we do like a Friday like fans.
Well, this is the thing. This was going to be the next question.
Yeah, so they try to pull me up for my Crocs. I wear Crocs everywhere. I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but I don't even take them off. So I wear Crocs everywhere. These are I'm well known for my Crocs. I wear them everywhere. I don't know if you want to see the other ones as well. These are like me Batman charms. Yeah,
so they're not.
So yeah, people trying to batter me for the Crocs, but yeah.
And you've not gone in off-road mode, I've noticed.
Nah, it's in comfort mode.
It's in comfort mode.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last podcast was with Frank Fielding. Yeah. It was obviously Carrington, and he was telling us about the fine situation. So you've been attacked, for want of a better word, and you used the footwear.
Yeah.
Okay. I did that.
Yeah, they did. They didn't get to find me in the end, to be fair. So I stayed strong. Have I been fined? I think I got fined for something stupid last week. Yeah, it is tough, to be fair. The Friday, the courtroom is can get a bit lively. But yeah, even now, it was just like every club has its own little thing going on, and that was that was a good one to walk into.
That's the reason why I ask about that, is because I imagine we heard obviously about Frank Field, that I understand he does karaoke, sings a few songs before he goes into the... And I wondered if he'd highlighted you being new at any point in none of those situations.
To be fair, on that first one, you kind of just sat there hoping no one mentions you, and he did. To be fair, on the first, because I was only there for a few days, so he didn't really bring me up. But obviously, second week round, I got fine. So
okay, fair enough. As debuts go, yours was all right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously good to score a goal, and it was actually a tough first half, to be honest. We didn't really, I didn't really get the ball much. I'd only been in the building obviously for a couple of days, really, so it was just like, get straight in there. Let's just find out in the deep end, see what it's about, and see what the way we play is obviously different here. And the pitch, I don't know if you've seen it, it was absolutely shocking. So it wasn't ideal for someone who's not played a lot of minutes in the past couple of months. It was just little things. I know obviously like these things fans probably don't think about, but when you go into games of football, you think about everything. You think about pitch, the way you play, the opposition, like how they're going to play, how we set up, how they set up, where the space is going to be. So the first half was kind of like a lot of just getting to grips with new teammates, what people like, what people don't like, and I think it's a skill that I've developed a lot at I'd say towards my last few months of Wimbledon, where it's like the game can not always be going your way, but like just stay in it. You know what I mean? Just stay in it, stay switched on. You can get a chance from nowhere. People watch I love Mo Salah. I'm a Liverpool fan, and the amount of times in the past 2 years, I could say 50-60% of the time where Salah's not touched the ball all game, or he's been ineffective, and then he just stays switched on and he takes his moments. So it was pleasing obviously to this debuts go. Don't get me wrong, everyone wants to score in a debut and wants to have an impact, so it was nice. But yeah, it's just one game, and there's probably 20 odd to go or something, so just take each one at a time.
The reason why I talk about your debut is because I can't remember a player in the time I've been working with Stoke that got a new chant that quickly off the ground. Do you know what I mean? Because like a new chant is obviously a nice thing to have, but for it to be sung so loudly, so quickly, and for everyone to pick up the words so quickly is impressive.
No, it was top. It's again like great prides of football, and when people are singing your name, I feel like I've been a bit of a... Is it called hero? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
like a bit of like a... I don't know why. I don't know why it is. But honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know if it's the way I play or whatever. But I've always kind of got a decent little song from the fans, even though I was at Wimbledon, Ipswich as well. And I've always had like a good connection with the fans in that way. But yeah, I didn't even know what they were singing, to be honest, until the end of the game, because I was like... And I could hear them singing all game. I thought it was just for the team, to be honest. And then
so humble.
Yeah, no, honestly, I couldn't. I was so focused on the game, and then after the game, obviously, when we went over to the fans, I'm like clapping, still not knowing what's going on. I'm just clapping, and then someone's like, "Joe, they're singing." I know. So he's like whispered at me. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, how well?" Like I didn't even realize. So yeah, it was tough singing all weekend. To be honest.
Well, that was good. I was going to ask you that. Do you find yourself singing it around the house?
Yeah. I don't know why. I kept hearing it everywhere, and everyone's sending me it, and obviously all my mates are watching, and a couple of boys at Ipswich sent it to me. So yeah, it was nice. That's the stuff that like social media can be good for, is when things are going well. When things aren't going well, probably not as much. But
also, you've got lots of syllables in your names. That does really help with songs, doesn't it?
It does. I always thought the opposite. I thought my name was quite difficult to put into chants, but for some reason it's like always works with a lot of things. So yeah, let's fingers crossed keeps getting the song. Oh no, by the way, I've got nothing against Tom Cannon. I don't know the geezer. I don't know. I'm sure he's a lovely lad. I'm sure he's done really well for the club.
He's such a nice bloke.
So yeah, I hope he's not offended by it.
Yeah. So for the record, he's a really, really nice lad. Yeah. So you've got no issues with him. So you care about Tom Cannon, yeah?
I care about Tom.
Yeah. So that other people might not like it because it goes better.
Yeah.
We cleared that up perfectly well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Can we talk just briefly about playing for your country?
Yeah.
What was it like, rather than for you, what was it like for your dad when you played for the first time?
Yeah, it was really really emotional, and I just remember I remember just ringing them both, FaceTime and both my mum and dad after the game, because obviously they were back home in Liverpool, and it was just such a proud moment. They would have loved to be there, but obviously I had a little sister who had school and stuff, so it was quite tough to get out there. And I think it was just coming out of COVID again, so fans weren't even allowed in the stadium at that time. So it was a bit disappointing to make me debut in front of an empty stadium, but I remember playing quite well actually, and it was unbelievable.
For you, obviously, you're very proud to be from Toxteth, but your birth country is obviously massively important for you. When you're representing it and you're putting on the shirt, and like you say, even though it was in COVID, not in front of fans, etc., that must be a special moment for you.
No, it was. Again, not many people probably get to experience playing in front of their country. Or pulling on the home jersey of their country was like, I don't know, it's just a mad feeling that no one is, especially Iraqi people, I'm sure everyone's seen on social media, they are obsessed with football. Yeah, obsessed with football. And kind of knowing that there's going to be 30-40 million people definitely watching that game. It was a different type of pressure, different responsibility, but like it was a good privilege. Like it's like a privilege to feel that pressure in that way. This is what I've worked for, this is what I dreamed of, and not every fan base of clubs I've been at, I've liked the constant streaming of fans, but I mean it's a good thing, and it's people supporting the club, so, or maybe just supporting me, but
you're doing all right for yourself at 22, aren't you? Represented your country, played at first Iraqi to play in the Premier League, playing at Stoke City. Do you find yourself when you're driving thinking life's quite good?
Nah,
not in an arrogant way, but like I feel really blessed to be able to do this.
Do I think that honestly? I'm definitely proud of myself. I wouldn't.
I don't mean that in an arrogant way whatsoever.
I wouldn't. You know what it is like? If people ask me about these things, I'm more than happy to speak about them. I would never go on my way to say anything about myself to anyone. Like I don't know if it's coming from Liverpool, like people. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. But I just feel like I just start cringing like whenever I speak about. I don't know. Just I feel like leave that for other people to speak about, and as long as I'm doing my best. I think the one thing I do feel when I'm driving around or in my own space is like I know that I'm giving my all the time, and people can appreciate that, and I can appreciate that. And I think like the only regrets I'd ever would have is if I got to the end of my career and just look back and thought like you had a little bit in you there, or there's a phase where you really dropped off in your application and you moaned and sobbed. And again, like I don't know if that's just the city where I'm from or maybe the way my parents raised me, but somehow these things kind of just always seem to follow me in terms of like doing these special things, and I don't know whether that's just a coincidence or again just because I just work really hard. That's it, really. There's nothing else. I mean, I'm alright at footy, but like I just work hard.
Better than it's like being back in the cages when you're growing up, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you do it, really. That's why you started doing it. So I think that's what I think. I try and reconnect with that as much as possible, because when you go into the change room in a football environment, it's so ruthless and so relentless, and it's like Tuesday, Saturday games, winning, tactics, meetings, what you eat and what you sleep, and ice baths, massage, and it's like, whoa, like we're just playing footy at the end of the day. It's a game of football, and I know people's livelihoods, and it's our livelihoods as players, but like we're doing it because we enjoy doing it. Like you do your job because you enjoy doing it, and I do my job because I enjoy it. So try and like reconnect with that as much as I can.
Right now, but we can end the podcast in two ways, right? Look, last time what we did was I gave Frank Fielding the opportunity to end in a serious way or to end in a light-hearted way. So I'm going to offer you the same level of respect. Do you want to end in a light-hearted way or a serious way?
You choose a light-hearted way.
Okay.
No,
he did. Yeah, straight away.
Any hints as to what's going to go on?
Not at all.
I'll keep it quite light-hearted.
Okay, sure. So, this is a little game called Love It or Leave It. What happens is I give you a series of general ideas, and you say, right, and Rob, love it, all over that. That's a little bit of me, that is. Now, Rob, leave it. It's not for me. Right? I'm not interested in that, okay? So, it's as definitive as that. do not even begin to try and sit on a fence because we're not going to allow it. On the Potter's Pod, we do not allow indifference, okay?
Right.
So the rules are set. It's down to you, okay?
All right.
The first one I'm going to start with is, and again, these are tailored to yourself, is fashion. Love it or leave it.
Love it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you need to expand on
Yeah,
it?
please do, yeah.
I love it. I just think it's an expression of yourself, and to be fair, going into football, I don't really like go in with the craziest fashion. I usually just wear trackies and my Crocs. You wear the same thing, but not outside of football. I like to express myself. Yeah.
I don't want to ask the cliche question in best and worst dressed in the Stoke dressing room, but I do want to know. So forgive, I don't like cliche questions. I'd be disappointed if you thought any of it in the interview, but
honestly, I don't know because I've not been here that long, and I think like what people wear into football. Some people have a right go every day, and like that's what they wear on a day-to-day basis. Some people just go into football wearing just whatever they pick up in the morning, and then dress quite well outside the football. So I feel like everyone's different. I'm quite like that. I don't think I dress particularly like extravagant. What's the
not
word?
extravagantly.
Like, into football, but outside, maybe if I'm going for a meal or something, I like to go and get a nice outfit and stuff.
Wouter Berger said he likes fashion. Can you see that when you see it?
Yeah, I could see it. I think he got battered the other day for wearing something that I know the boys would find them for it.
Someone was telling me Beijing Ho likes his clothes as well.
Yeah. I've noticed that. I think the older lads, like, the ones that have been more experienced, like Gibbos, and they just come in wearing.
What's wrong with what Ben Gibson wears?
No, I'm not Gibbo. He knows I love him, but he's just comes in wearing like a trackie every day or shorts and the top and just like random trainers and stuff. So, everyone's different.
Okay, so love it. Yeah, that's fine. The next one. So because today, when we're recording, this is the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you, love it or leave it, NFL.
Love it. I love it, yeah. I like American sports. My brother plays basketball, so I got into basketball a couple of years ago. And I got into the NFL, I'll probably say last year in the Super Bowl. And yeah, I love it. Yeah, I like American sports.
Have you been to any?
Nah. You know what? I'll tell you a funny story. I was telling it to my mum the other day because he's talking about Bale, I confirm her. And he, in his last season as a pro, because he knew he was going to retire at the end of the season, and he just packed up halfway through the season, just said to Gareth, I'm taking a week off to go to the Super Bowl. Just went to the Super Bowl. So obviously I couldn't do that here, but that was he's a special character.
Final one. Okay, so this is the one that we ask everyone. So this is the continuity. This is what happens. No matter who you are sitting in that seat, this is the question that gets answered, okay? This is a big one. Don't rush into it. I can tell you're taking it seriously, and I'm happy you're giving it this level of thought already, right? Pineapple on pizza. Love it or leave it?
Leave it. Yeah. That's outrageous, That's outrageous. Yeah. There's a lot of things I'm open to. I just don't understand that. Never have done.
That's the right
answer. Who thought of that? Like, who thought of putting pineapple on pizza? So such a rat. Like, you could put might as well put an orange on it, mate, or an apple. It's like, how can you put a fruit on pizza? It makes no sense.
I thought this was a good podcast, but the fact that you give that level of detail to
honestly,
it's pineapple
mental, mate.
Puts this straight into number one for me. I didn't ask Mark Robbins.
Did it?
No, I didn't ask him.
Did you have him on, yeah?
Yeah, we had him on.
Did you not ask him any of these questions?
I did ask him. Oh, no.
I don't blame you.
I'll dodge it on that one.
I don't blame you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate that.
Cheers for watching that. If you want to see any more, we've got loads ready and waiting for you. Ryan Shawcross, we've got Frank Fielding, all ready. Just click subscribe and you can't miss on. We'll see you soon.